Okay, so just to recap, this has everything we absolutely need for the test. If I would make any changes, I'd print you out another one. I don't want you to be looking at this while we go over this now. I want to see if you remember any of these. But this is something you could be consulting whenever you're like, oh, what was ATP again? Oh, what did the ribosome do? So it's all on here, okay? I'll make sure I link this also. Okay, so today we're going to go over cells and organelles. Remember, we couldn't go over cells and organelles until we went over the biomolecules because the biomolecules make up the cells and organelles. So remember, carbs were energy, so we're going to talk about which of these organelles deals with energy. Lipids are fats, stored energy, but one of the organelles is made up of lipids, okay? Proteins build, well guess what? Proteins build all of this stuff, not to mention one of these organelles actually makes protein. And then nucleic acids are held within one of these organelles. So we're going to go back to the 4 biomolecules whenever we talk about cells. Okay. I don't want any long definitions. We're just going to do short, quick words. And so, how would you describe the nucleus?
Stores DNA.
Stores DNA, brain of the cell. Good.
I thought I would call it the boss form.
Oh, I like it. Yeah, like the brain, the boss. Okay. So we'll say stores DNA. Okay?
All right.
What about the DNA itself?
Wait, does it?
I don't really know how to say that in short. I don't want to say that. The genetic makeup of
Genetic material. Yeah. Remember, DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid, so this is one of the nucleic acids, okay? Ribosome, like your ribs, when you go out to eat a meal, you're eating
makes protein. Oh wait, which one are we on?
ribosome. So ribs, think of like when you're eating a meal of ribs, you're ordering protein, a bunch of protein. So ribosomes make protein. Okay, your cell membrane.
Selectively in.
Okay, I'm not asking y'all to read off of that sheet. I didn't give that to you to read off of it. I want you to try to remember this stuff.
It keeps everything from going in and out.
Good, so it's like the bouncer of the cell. It keeps things from going in and out. So we're gonna say, we'll say in and out, and in parentheses we'll write selectively permeable. Because they will ask you on the STAR test which organelle is selectively permeable, or have that there. And remember, selective means choosy, permeable means to go in and out. So the cell membrane is selectively permeable. It chooses what goes in and out. Oh, glucose, you can come in. Ooh, waste, no, you have to stay out. Okay. We're gonna go up here. Okay, ribosomes make the protein. Let's jump to the smooth and rough ER. ER is the emergency room, so it fixes. What does it fix? Fixes proteins. Now, rough ER. So if something was smooth, I would picture your hand going like this. If it's rough, you're like, ooh, it's rough. So the smooth ER has nothing attached to it. The rough ER has ribosomes attached to it. Which one do you want? The rough ER. I'm going to put a little star next to the rough ER because, guys, if the ribosomes make the protein and then the protein has to get to the rough ER, if the ribosomes were on the ER, wouldn't that make it super quick? So, rough ER, we're going to say fixes protein.
Wait, doesn't the rough ER and
We're going to say with ribosomes, I just wrote rib, attached. The smooth ER just fixes proteins. Oop. So, in a cell, you'll see both the smooth ER, both the rough ER, but the rough ER is way more efficient because it's kind of like this. Ribosome makes the protein, shoves it right into the smooth ER. Whereas if this is a ribosome, it makes a protein, it needs to go in the cytoplasm and find the ER. Okay, so ready? Ribosomes make the protein. Rough ER, the smooth ER fixes protein. Who sends it where it needs to go, go, go?
The
Golgi, good. So we're going to write sends out protein. Make the protein, fix the protein, send it where it needs to go. So the ribosomes, Rough-ER, Golgi work together. Okay. When it comes to energy in cells, every single cell, whether it's a plant or animal, needs a mitochondria. Think of mitochondria, energy. Okay? This is where energy is made. So we're going to say ATP. In parentheses, we'll write energy. Made. Every cell needs ATP, whether you're a plant cell, animal cell, bacteria cell. The cool thing about plant cells and all autotrophs is that they can make their own glucose. We animals have to eat our glucose. So guys, chloroplast doesn't make energy. Chloroplast makes glucose. So, you're an animal. When an animal eats glucose, it gives it to the mitochondria and it makes energy. A plant makes glucose and then gives it to the mitochondria. Guys, no matter what organism you are, you need a mitochondria because even if you eat a whole bunch of glucoses will not turn into chemical energy until it's processed by a mitochondria. So if they're saying who makes energy in animals, it's a mitochondria. Who makes energy in plants? It's still mitochondria. But plants do make their own glucose. That is basically the raw material. Okay? Vacuole like a vacuum. What does it do?
It sucks up all the waste and water.
Good.
Stores water and waste.
So picture it, we'll say stores WWF, wastewater food. So in animals, we don't really need vacuoles because we're mobile. We can search for our water, food. But plants, guys, can plants just get water whenever they want? No, they need to store it. That's why plant vacuoles are huge, okay? Protein, okay, so we're just going to protein builds. So proteins just build everything. If you need a new vacuole, a protein will build it. If you need an extra Golgi, protein will build it. Proteins just, they do everything. Why do you have blue eyes? Because you're making blue-eyed protein. Why do you have black hair? Because you're making protein, black protein, okay? So everything about you is all protein, okay? Lysosome, like Lysol, it digests waste. So Lysol, I don't want to say it cleans, but it digests the waste. So it technically cleans the cell, keeps the cell clean like that. So we're going to say digest, waste. We're going to say in vacuole. So does a lysosome, should a lysosome be able to move throughout a cell? If a lysosome has to digest the waste in a vacuole, I don't know if it moves, but it has to be really close to a vacuole, am I right? How is a vacuole, or how is the lysosome supposed to break down waste if it's farther away? So it either has to be able to, the lysosome actually has to either move to a vacuole, or it has to be located near a vacuole. Okay. Cilia and flagella, they're both in movement. Who remembers what the little oar-like arms are? And who remembers what the flag, like it looks like a flag flapping in the wind? The tail, flagella, good. So cilia, we're going to call them arms for movement. And the flag, flagella, I always think of a flag flapping. So the flagella would be like a sperm tail. It would be like the rods and cones in your cilia, in your eyes, in your brain. So this is the tail for movement. Okay. Cytoplasm. I know people get the cytoplasm and the chloroplast mixed up, but guys, this word plasm Doesn't that sound like plasma, like blood plasma, like plasma? So cytoplasm is basically the plasma that fills a cell, or the jelly-like substance. I don't want to say it's water, because guys, water does not fill a cell, but it is a liquid-like substance. So we're gonna say we'll say fills cell. It's the jelly-like or plasma-like substance that fills a cell. Okay, cell wall. Look up here really quick. Okay, if you're a plant, you have a cell membrane, and then you also have a cell wall, but they do two different things. Also, bacteria, they have a cell membrane and a cell wall, okay? What is the purpose of a cell wall?
To help keep the structure.
Structure,
the cell.
protection, good. So I would say in a plant, it would be for structure so that it would build up to the sun. But for bacteria, I would say it's protection, because guys, bacteria are unicellular. They have to protect themselves. So I would say it's for structure and protection, support, yeah, structure and protection. But animal cells, y'all, we don't need a cell wall. If we had a cell wall, we wouldn't be able to do this. Squish, squish, squish. Okay, can you just squish, squish, squish on a plant? No, their cell walls keep their cells pretty turgid and hard.
Thought about it, but is that why like plants are like crunchy?
Yeah, because you're literally squishing, and then sometimes when you go like this with a plant, you see water squirt out. That's literally all of their juices. Well, it's probably the xylem and phloem flicking out like the water and the glucose in and out, but it's also their whatever's inside of their cells, because it's okay. Last part, prokaryote, eukaryote. So we're gonna say pro, no nucleus. So that would be a bacteria. So ready? Here's a bacteria, and its DNA is just chilling in the middle. There's nothing that protects it from all the other molecules that are there. Eukaryote, we say you sounds like do. You do have nucleus. Or you could say you like an egg. So an egg, like the egg in the yolk, has a nucleus. So remember, amoeba sisters are protists. Protists look just like bacteria, but their DNA is inside a nucleus, okay? Animal cells have a nucleus. Plant cells have there's the big old vacuole, have a nucleus, okay? The only cells that are prokaryotes are bacteria. Maybe I'll put that somewhere over here. The only cells this is bacteria. That's why I call them dumb bacteria. Those dumb bacteria don't even have a brain. They don't even have a nucleus. Okay, now, the size of a plant, animal, bacteria, virus. Okay, we're gonna start with the plant and the animal, okay? So first off, what is the shape of a plant? Square, good. Animals are round, okay? They both are eukaryotes, so they both have a nucleus, but like I said before, plant has to have a big vacuole, so its nucleus may be toward the side. Animals instead have the nucleus in the middle. Now remember, animals also, being a eukaryote, it means you have a nucleus and organelles. So you also have the ER, the Golgi, all that stuff, okay? Same here. Okay. Now, the size difference. From an animal to a bacteria, this is 100 times, so when you're going this direction, bacteria are 100 times smaller. So bacteria, with its little DNA, no nucleus, flagella, little cilia, okay? And then from a bacteria to a virus is 100 times smaller. I would barely even put a little pen tip. That's why we can't see viruses. They are just so stinking small. The best thing we could do is just protect our immune system, and we've talked about that. I just actually read this article, and it said that, if you get your vitamin D, you should be good. The people who are experiencing the biggest side effects of pretty much any virus are those who are lacking in vitamin D. Okay. Now what we're going to do is, real quickly, this is not to scale because the bacteria should be way smaller, but do y'all see how there's nothing protecting the DNA? Anything could bump into it, make it mutate, so there is not protection. It is not organized. Look at how organized animal and plant cells are. That's why we are these huge trillion cell organisms. We can organize really good. You can't organize with this just hot mess of a stuff in there. We can organize. Look at how organized this is, okay? What I do want to mention is, what do all of these things have in common? So right here, I'm just going to put things that they all have in common. What do all of these cells have in common? Well, first off, they have to have something that fills them, which is so they all have to have cytoplasm. Now, they're all biological, which means that they all are carbon-based, okay? They all have to have good, but do they have to have a nucleus?
No.
Nope. So they all have some kind of DNA or genetic material, but only these two have a nucleus. Okay. They all have to make protein, so they all have what organelle? Ribosomes. Ribosomes.
They all have a vacuole. Wait, I don't think the bacteria does.
This is just the molecule, yeah. A vacuole would still be an organelle. So remember, bacteria doesn't have any organelles, but now let's talk about what surrounds it. What must the bacteria have that surrounds it?
The membrane.
And the? Good. So this is the deal. Every cell has to have a cell membrane. And then, I can't put this for everybody, but this has a cell wall on the outside, and this has a cell wall on the outside. Good. Okay, moving on. These two right here. What is the main differences between animal and plant? Let's do shape. So what are the main differences?
One square, one round.
Square, round. So we got shape.
Cell wall.
Cell wall.
The size of the vacuole.
Size of the vacuole. And tell me about color. What do you think of the color? What do you know one of them is going to be colored?
Green.
Green. Good. Okay, I think that will significantly help you with the questions that we're about to go over. Let's count, see how many there are. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Uh-oh, my copy's crazy. Okay, so now let's work on the questions, and then we'll go over the questions in the next video. How many questions are there, y'all?
1, 2,